Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today is part 3 vlog for reading 31 books in 31 days in the month of August. So this will be books 11 through 15. I am already reading one book, which is my Kindle read because I did go to the gym today, so I already started that. And that is Battle of the Bookshops by Poppy Alexander. Sounds very similar to another book that's out, I think, or coming out soon too, but this is an arc that comes out within the next week or so. And it is about two childhood acquaintances that are now back in the same town, and our female main character is trying to revamp her family's bookstore and kind of reinvent herself because of where she is with her career and everything. And her like childhood nemesis, who they weren't really nemesis, but they still kind of hate each other, comes back to town and opens a bookshop right across the street. So he's also like the wealthier part of their family. There's a little Romeo and Juliet-esque-ness to this because the families have hated each other for years. They're from this like small town in England, I want to say. So it's cute. I'm enjoying it. I'm about 50% of the way through, a little under 50% of the way through. So I'm reading through it pretty quickly. And it is just entertaining because they are at each other's throats. So like, while you know there's going to be a romance, hopefully, because it is a romance, they're definitely kind of just egging each other on and arguing, and it's kind of funny. So I'm enjoying that so far. And the first book I'm going to read physically for this vlog is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This is her only adult book that I haven't read yet, I believe. I have read her newest one, which was A Sea of Unspoken Things, as well as, I don't have it in here. She has another one too that I also read. And I've enjoyed her writing and her books. So this is the first one physically up on the docket, so I'm going to start this a little bit later today, and I will touch base with you guys tomorrow because I am going to be out this evening, so I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done, but we'll talk about what I've read at the gym in the morning and then where I've gotten to with this tomorrow. Everyone, I have an update. I finished up The Unmaking of June Farrow yesterday. I gave this 4 stars, really enjoyed this. It got a little bit confusing at the end, like if you weren't paying attention and trying to figure out the whole plot and how it all came together. I think it was a little unnecessarily confusing, but it made sense. I didn't read it when I was too tired. I do not recommend trying to finish this book when you're really tired, but it was a very unique concept, very interestingly woven story. I really enjoyed this. So 4 stars. We're following our main character, June, obviously, and she's trying to break this curse that's on her family that like all the women in her family go insane. They like see hallucinations and stuff, and she's trying to figure out why, and there's this door that appears all the time, and that's really all I can say without ruining the book, but it was very cool. I really enjoyed this, and it was like magical realism with a little bit of romance, which is what Adrienne Young is just known for, so it was right on par with what I'm used to for her. I also finished Battle of the Bookshops by Poppy Alexander, and really enjoyed that one as well. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was like a Romeo and Juliet retelling, which I didn't fully know going in. Jules is our main character, and then Roman is our MMC, and they both own bookshops in this small town in England, and Jules's family has been there for like 100 years, and then Roman comes back to town and opens it up, and she's in town for health reasons with her family, and she's trying to save the bookshop, and he's obviously opened one that's not helping matters. So it's a little bit of a battle there, and then, you know, in true Romeo and Juliet fashion, the children fall in love, the families have been feuding for years, blah, 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 blah. There was, like, a part of the storyline that involved a book that they found at her shop that was kind of weird and a little out there, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, it just felt like it didn't coincide with the book very well, which is probably why it's only, like, a 3.5 star read. The romance was cute. There were times where she was, I feel like, a little dramatic, but overall, I really did enjoy it, and I love anything about bookstores and books in general, so that also helped keep the rating where it was. But yeah, that was another arc I had to read, so 3.5 stars. Now, as my Kindle read, I am moving on to If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Huang. I have started this. I'm only like 60 pages in, maybe, if that. I don't know. I read it on my phone this morning at the gym. But I feel like this one's gonna make me mad. All I really know right now, you're following Farah and Blake, and they are basically American exchange students in, I don't know if you want to call them exchange, but they're going to school in Shanghai right now. They're in college, and they have the same group of friends because it's all like transplants from the United States. And he's like an ex-football player, and I really don't know exactly like what her shtick is yet, but it kind of starts off in the future, and then it goes back to like a few months ahead, like a few months behind when I guess like they first met and everything. And the prologue, where it like kind of explains what happens in the future, like made me mad, and I'm like, great, now I have to get through this entire book. And this is a duet. So there's this one. And then their story continues in If the Sun Never Sets, which I will be reading probably in the next vlog because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like how this ends. So these are connected, and then there's also a book 3 and a book 4, but I think those are two different couples, so they're separate from these two. But these two, I believe, are the same couple, which makes me even more afraid that I'm not going to like how this ends. So yeah, he's really cocky. He obviously is like very popular because of what he does. He's an ex-football player and everything from some Texas university, and like she's from California, and he's from like a wealthy family, it seems like a well-to-do family, and it's I think going to be one of those where he has obligations to fulfill and blah 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 and all that stuff. So I think it's gonna be interesting. It's basically like forces out of their control rip them apart, which I think the forces are his family, but we'll find out. And then I started Beautiful Ugly. I'm not very far in this either. This is Alice Feeney's newest release, and it is about a writer named Grady who is on the phone with his wife when she kind of like pulls over to the side of the road to help somebody and then disappears. And this is now a year later, and he goes to this remote island in Scotland to kind of like to get his groove back with writing and try to move on from what happened with them and her disappearance, because like I think people are basically like, you just have to admit that she's gone and she's not coming back and you need to move on with your life, but he's having trouble moving on. So yeah, that's kind of all I know about it so far, I think. And then no, that's not true. He keeps thinking he sees her on the island, and that's all I really know so far, and I think that's pretty much all it tells you. Yeah, and then he sees the impossible woman who looks exactly like his missing wife. So that is where the synopsis ends, and that is kind of where I'm at in the book right now, and that's part I'll be able to say other than like overall feelings and thoughts at this point, but I'm enjoying it so far. But we'll see, because I know some people have said it gets a little slow and they don't like the main character, but I enjoy Alice Feeney's writing. I've enjoyed all of her books, even ones other people haven't particularly liked, so I'm not too concerned, but that's the other one I'm reading. And then we have one more in this vlog to read. But I'm going to get going on these two, and then I'll update when I have something to talk about. Okay, I finished book, I believe, 13 of the month. Yes. So book 13 finished on the 12th. So this, I think I'm going to give 3.5 stars. It had a weird ending. Like, I did see some of the stuff coming that did come to light at the end. The ending was really creepy, I think. And the big reveal about like what really happened, I didn't see coming. But like the little parts that kind of led up to that, I did see that he kind of figured them all out at the end. But I think that they were hinted at enough during the book. There were some parts that were a little slow, but I feel like the last 100 pages, I didn't want to put the book down. So that helped to keep the rating like above a 3, I think. But yeah, I'm going to go with 3.5 stars. So this really, I can't say much more after what I said about it yesterday, which was that he's trying to figure out what happened to his wife after she went missing. And he goes to this island because his publicist, the person that represents him because he's a writer, she sends him there to kind of like get his life back on track. And then he thinks he sees his wife there, and then everything starts to kind of unravel from that point. But it was interesting, and again, like nice and short. Like I like when a thriller is like short and to the point. So I did enjoy it. I love Alice Feeney, so I will read anything she releases. So the next book I'm going to read is Call It What You Want by Alyssa DeRogatis, and I love that this is what this book's called because Taylor Swift coded. Taylor just announced TS12 this morning, 12/12 this morning. So it's been a great day. Nothing's bringing me down today. And this is a song title from her. So I think this is just about a girl that's like in her senior year of college, and something happens with her upstairs neighbor, and like he's closed off and everything, but there's an attraction there, that kind of stuff. So I think it's just going to be like, you know, your standard romance, close proximity clearly, because they're obviously like upstairs neighbors, or like, you know, neighbors in the apartment. So gonna read this, gonna finish up If We Ever Meet Again by Ana Huang. I am like 60% of the way through that book, and I will finish it up tomorrow because it's not a very long book. So hopefully finish these two tomorrow, and that'll be 15 done on day 13 of the month. So I'll still be 2 books ahead, and then we'll wrap this one up and move on to the next vlog. Okay, everyone, so I finished up If We Ever Meet Again by Ana Huang, and I am immediately already kind of starting the next one, but that's not going to be in this vlog because I want to know what's going to happen. There was a storyline in here that I saw coming, and I may be right about where it's going to end in the next one, but I'm not 100% sure. Being a few chapters into that, I could be wrong, but I did see it coming in this, like what was going to happen with him. I think it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. So it kind of made me mad, but at the same time, like I think that our FMC did what she needed to do. and I'm happy with that. And then the next book does start like 5 years in the future or like 3 years in the future. I can't remember exactly how old they were in this one, but they were in college in this one and like 25 in the next one. So there is a time jump in this duet. Keep that in mind, but we'll talk more about the other book in the next one. I gave this a 3-star because I think that it was just hard for me to connect with them because of the age difference. Sometimes I can relate to college romances, sometimes I can't. I find that I like more adult romances more now that I'm in my mid-30s, but I still enjoyed it. It was still Anna Huang's, you know, writing that I can just like fly through, and I do like that, but I definitely like her newer series better. And I'm also like 50% of the way through Call It What You Want by Alessa DeRogatis, and I want to throw this book against the wall. Like, if Manchild was a book, right here. I'm gonna get through it because I'm literally flying through it, so I'm not gonna DNF it, but I know I'm gonna want to throw this thing against the wall. And this is the first time I've read a romance book that I hope to God they do not end up together at the end. And I mean that with my full chest. This girl also is really frustrating, this FMC. I am not relating to her either because she's one of those people that just like wants to hold on to a relationship even though like this dude is literally like a walking sea of red flags and an absolute douche. I can't stand him, and I'm just like, how is this a romance? Because he's not even like, it's not romantic. She's just clinging to him even though she shouldn't be, and this is just kind of following them throughout the stages of, I think, like 2 years of when they first meet to the prologue is like 2 years after that. And I'm infuriated, and that's not the kind of person I am. So I'm having some issues relating to our FMC, and she's kind of annoying me, but I'm gonna get through it because I only have like 150 pages left. But yeah, that's where I am. This is the last book for this vlog, so as soon as I finish this up, we'll close it out. Okay, time to wrap this one up. We started with The Unmaking of June Farrow. This was 4 stars. Then I finished Poppy Alexander's Battle of the Bookshops. That was 3.5 stars. Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, 3.5 stars. If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Huang, 3 stars. I did like this. I just wish I could have related to the main characters more, but due to their age and the way they were acting, I just really couldn't relate. I am in progress with the second one, and I am liking that one more though, so we'll see. And then Call It What You Want by Alessa DeRogatis. This was a 2-star read for me. I really just did not like our 2 main characters, and this was just like a walking red flag book, Manchild in a book. I just could not stand either of them. Like, she just wanted to be in a relationship with him so badly. She was ignoring everything, and he was just leading her on, and he knew he was, and he just didn't care. And I feel like there were feelings, but both of them were just so immature that they just couldn't handle it. So 2-star read, just not for me. If you like a messy romance, maybe this would have been more up your alley, more your speed, but just not for me. So another one bites the dust, another vlog down. That was books 11 through 15 for the month. So I am at book 15 books for the month so far. And it was the 13th when I finished these. Today is actually the next day. But yeah, we're doing well for the challenge, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the month has in store. So if you'd like to see that, I hope to see you all in the next video, and I thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far.